Hey guys, it's Sunday, October 30th, 2011, day 30 of Vlogtober. One more day to go after this. And okay, so as promised, I'm going to do this on horror movies. I want to talk about horror movies since we're a day away from Halloween. It's All Hallows Eve tonight. So, you have great history of horror movies over the years. And you have different categories, everything. You have your movie monsters, and you have your sort of like ghost movies, you kind of suspenseful, scary movies. Then you got your slasher films. And there have been lots of great movies. There have been lots of bad movies. So, so you get movies like the ghost kind of stuff. You have like things like The Ring and The Grudge, and now you have this Paranormal Activity, which is now the third one has come out, and those have been those have been like kind of surprise hits. They've been big. The Grudge is probably, as far as a category like this, kind of like the weird, unusual. That is one of the scariest movies to me that I've seen. Like, you go back to the hundreds of movies I've seen over the years. That's one of the scariest movies ever, in my opinion. I'll talk about my scariest movie in a little bit. Or no, in fact, I'll bring it up. I'll bring it up now. For me, gotta be the all-time scariest movie's gotta be The Exorcist. That movie freaks me out. That's why I have tons of movies on video and DVD, Blu-ray, so on. That movie I don't have in any form because I don't like to watch that movie too often. It scares the bejesus out of me. It's a weird word. But yeah, that movie scares the heck out of me. It's just freaky. Let's see. Move on. And then you have the monster movies. Of course, there's all those classic Universal movies, the Frankenstein's monster and Wolfman and Dracula and all that stuff. And there have been countless werewolf movies and vampire movies. There's a certain movie series based on a certain book series that I am not even going to mention. I won't mention his name because that's not vampires. I don't care what you want to call that. And I'm not even going to say the title. I'm sure you can guess what I'm talking about. But please, we won't go there. But then you got your King Kong and Godzilla movies, old school Godzilla movies. Guy in some big rubber suit knocking over model buildings and cars and stuff. I love those. I still love those movies. They're just so much fun. And every once in a while they put out one of those Godzilla movies, and they still do it. The Japanese company that makes them, they still do it the same way. It's model buildings, and you have a guy in a suit, and it's people still enjoy those movies. It's low tech as you can get, but people still enjoy those. And then you get things like something like, I hate to even call this strictly a monster movie, but I'll show you. Well, I don't know if you could see that on camera. My shirt there, which is one of the all-time greatest movies, is Jaws. And if you bring it down to, like, technically it's a monster movie. But I hate to even call it that because it's so well written and well acted and well directed. It's a masterpiece. It really is. it's one of the greatest. It's a movie that I will never ever tire of watching. I'll never get tired of watching that movie. And if you haven't seen that, you need to see it. I would say stop watching my vlog right now and go see that movie. Put that movie on. Find it. Netflix, whatever, I don't know. Whatever you have to do. If you have not seen Jaws, you need to see Jaws. That's without a doubt. And then you got the slasher films. You got the slasher films. And really what I would consider the very first slasher film is really Psycho. Alfred Hitchcock classic starring Anthony Perkins. Gives amazing performance, and like so many other horror movies, that movie's been remade, and it's not that the remake is a bad movie. It's just that it's basically the same movie. It's shot for shot. It's pretty much the same movie. If you're gonna do a remake, stay somewhat close to the original, but do something different. But the Psycho remake, it's the same movie. So if you're going to see Psycho, just watch the original. And yes, it's in black and white. Watch the original. Nothing against the cast in the remake, but watch the original. And then of course, I grew up in the 80s, and in the late 70s, and going into the 80s, you have your Halloween and Friday the 13th and the Nightmare on Elm Street films. And for me, the Friday the 13th series is my favorite. I know it's your basic premise, and they get kind of stupid after maybe the fifth one. But yeah, by the fourth one, they start to get really dumb. But I still love them. If they made another one, if they made Friday the 13th, 11 or 12 or whatever they're up to, I would go see it. Now, again, that's another movie that's been remade. You want to watch Friday the 13th, again, stick with the originals. Same thing goes for Nightmare on Elm Street. Halloween, same thing. Just watch the originals. The remakes, But yeah, I love those. I love those movies. I'll always. It's part. Like I said, growing up in the 80s, those are the horror movies that I grew up with. There are lots of horror movies that are classics, but that's what I grew up with. That's my generation. And of course, again, I mentioned real quick, if you're going to go slasher films and you're going to go, the perfect movie for the season is obviously the original Halloween, the John Carpenter classic, which, again, low budget, started a young Jamie Lee Curtis who's gone on to so many great things since. And John Carpenter, he produced, I think he helped edit it. He was one of the writers. He did the music. It's an amazing picture. And it's another movie kind of like Jaws, where it's, and that I mean it's a completely different movie, but what I mean by that it's like Jaws is that it worked with the less you saw, the better. The less you saw of the shark, the better it made it. And the weird thing is that movie has a reputation as being one of the bloodiest films of all time, and there's barely a drop of blood in it. So I don't know if people would just remember it wrong. I don't know. So yeah, I can go on forever. We're hitting almost 10 minutes here, but I can go on forever and ever on horror movies. There's so many movies I could mention that I didn't mention. So I'm gonna wrap this up, but I'll just ask you, what are your thoughts on horror movies in general? Do you like horror movies? Do you not like them? What types of horror movies do you like? Are you more of the slasher movie, the monster movie? Just what are some of your favorites? what are the ones that you like? The Scream franchise. That's another great franchise. That the fourth Scream movie just came out, and I believe there is going to be a fifth. But yeah, again, I can go on forever talking about movies. So, what's some of your favorite movies? Types of movies? What are your thoughts? I would love to hear them. Leave your comments below. And that's going to be it. And I will see you tomorrow for Halloween tomorrow.